String is a class, and a value of type string is an object. That object includes string's character sequence and subroutines as well. All of these subroutines are in fact functions. For example, every string object contains a function named length that computes the number of characters in that string. Suppose that feedback is a variable that refers to a string. For example, feedback might have been declared and assigned a value as follows. Feedback.length is a function call that returns the number of characters in the string. In this case, the return value would be 22. In general, for any variable str of type string, the value of str.length is an int equal to the number of characters in the string. Note that this function has no parameter. The particular string whose length is being computed is the value of str. The length subroutine is defined by the class string, and it can be used with any value of type string. It can even be used with string literals, which are, after all, just constant values of type string. For example, you could have a program count the characters in Hello World. The string class defines a lot of functions. Here are some that you might find useful. Assume that s1 and s2 are variables of type string. s1.equals s2 is a function that returns a Boolean value. It returns true if s1 consists of exactly the same sequence of characters as s2 and returns false otherwise. s1.equals ignore case s2 is another Boolean valued function that checks whether s1 is the same string as s2, but this function considers upper and lower case letters to be equivalent. Thus, if s1 is cat, then s1.equals cat is false, while s1.equals ignore case cat is true. s1.length, as mentioned above, is an integer valued function that gives the number of characters in s1. s1.char at n, where n is an integer, returns a value of type char. It returns the nth character in the string. Positions are numbered starting with 0. So s1.char at 0 is actually the first character. s1.char at 1 is the second, and so on. The final position is s1.length, 1. For example, the value of cat char at 1 is a. An error occurs if the value of the parameter is less than 0 or is greater than or equal to s1.length. s1.substring n, m, where n and m are integers, returns a value of type string. The returned value consists of the characters of s1 in positions n, n plus 1, m1. Remember that character positions are numbered starting from 0. Note that the character in position m is not included. The returned value is called a substring of s1. The subroutine s1.substring n, with just one parameter, returns the substring of s1 consisting of characters starting at position n up until the end of the string. s1.index of s2 returns an integer. If s2 occurs as a substring of s1, then the returned value is the starting position of that substring. Otherwise, the returned value is -1. You can also use s1.index of ch to search for a char, ch, in s1. To find the first occurrence of x at or after position n, you can use s1.index of x, n. To find the last occurrence of x in s1, use s1.lastIndex of x. s1.compare to s2 is an integer valued function that compares the two strings. If the strings are equal, the value returned is 0. If s1 is less than s2, the value returned is a number less than 0, and if s1 is greater than s2, the value returned is some number greater than 0. There is also a function s1.compare to ignore case s2. If both of the strings consist entirely of lowercase letters, or if they consist entirely of uppercase letters, then less than and greater than refer to alphabetical order. Otherwise, the ordering is more complicated. It compares individual characters using their Unicode code numbers. s1.to uppercase is a string-valued function that returns a new string that is equal to s1, except that any lowercase letters in s1 have been converted to uppercase. For example, cat to uppercase is the string cat. There is also a function s1.to lowercase. s1.trim is a string-valued function that returns a new string that is equal to s1, except that any non-printing characters such as spaces and tabs have been trimmed from the beginning and from the end of the string. Thus, if s1 has the value Fred, then s1.trim function is the string Fred, with the spaces at the end removed. For the functions s1.to uppercase, s1.to lowercase, and s1.trim, Note that the value of S1 is not changed. Instead, a new string is created and returned as the value of the function. The returned value could be used, for example, in an assignment statement such as small letters equals S1 dot to lowercase. To change the value of S1, you could use an assignment S1 equal to S1 dot to lowercase. Here is another extremely useful fact about strings. You can use the plus operator to concatenate two strings. The concatenation of two strings is a new string consisting of all the characters of the first string followed by all the characters of the second string. For example, hello plus world evaluates to hello world. In this one program, we looked at what is string and string operation. Stay tuned for the next program note. Thank you.